for shoppers. First tonight, Prime Minister Philip Davis announces a 5% VAT cut on select grocery items, promising relief in the fight against the high cost of living. We'll tell you what's included and when it takes effect. A drop in the bucket. The Free National Movement dismisses the VAT reduction as insufficient, arguing Bahamians still face sky-high costs elsewhere. Why the chairman says the relief falls short. Tragedy on Queens Highway. A man loses his life after an early morning crash in Tarpon Bay. Police investigating as this marks the 5th traffic fatality for the year. Then in our news at 7:30, Prime Minister's VAT cut announcement comes back into focus. Will it ease the burden? Residents share their thoughts. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. In the next 3 months, shoppers will actually see a 50% drop in value-added tax on some grocery items. Prime Minister Philip Davis made the announcement in a national address last night, stressing that government is working hard to ease the financial strain on taxpayers facing rising living costs. Berthany McDermott gets us started with this recap.
Beginning April 1st, the rate will be cut in half, from 10% to 5%.
According to the Prime Minister, the hope is that the value-added tax reduction will assist in cutting the burden of grocery costs. The 5% rate will apply to all food in the food store, including fresh fruits and vegetables, baby food, lunch snacks, and frozen food. On the flip side, it will not apply to prepared food in the store's deli. The rate reduction will also apply to the importation of the items mentioned.
VAT is not the cause of the high price of food. But for those with the tightest disposable income, reducing VAT by 50% will make a difference. This reduction will not impact our fiscal targets for this year.
This will be the second time the Davis-led government reduced the VAT rate. In 2022, the government reduced VAT from 12% to 10%, but added VAT to items that were previously VAT-free. The Prime Minister referenced recommendations to increase VAT from 12% to 15% as we have the lowest rate in the region. It's a decision he says the government shot down. A more stable economy, according to the Prime Minister, made reducing the VAT rate easier. He also said the biggest reason for the high cost of living is the lack of competition in the Bahamas.
When competition is weak, or if companies have a monopoly in a certain market, businesses can charge whatever they like. When there's competition, customers have more choices. They have more choice about where to shop and what to buy. Competitors can offer cheaper prices to entice customers, and businesses soon realize that the way to succeed is by becoming more competitive. In order to strengthen competition, we will shortly be engaging in a consultative period prior to introducing legislation to prohibit anti-competitive practices.
Reporting for our news, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks for that, Berthany. Meanwhile, the Free National Movement says it isn't buying into government's VAT reduction on groceries, calling it a drop in the bucket. F&M Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands questioned why government didn't eliminate VAT entirely, arguing that while grocery bills may shrink slightly, Bahamians are still struggling with high costs on countless other items and services.
It is a drop in the bucket. It is an appreciated drop in the bucket, but it's still a drop in the bucket. And they will still have to deal with the challenges of paying VAT on healthcare. They will still have to deal with the challenges of paying for energy or electricity, which is as expensive as a mortgage.
And for context, under the Minnis administration, VAT was increased to 12%, but bread basket items were made VAT-free. While Dr. Sands acknowledged that any relief is worth applauding, he placed the blame for the recent spike in the cost of living squarely on the Davis administration.
Given the fact that you have orchestrated a cost of living crisis, you've driven up the price of gasoline, you've driven up the price of electricity by the insatiable spending of the government. You've been taxing people almost to the point misery.
And government tackling the high costs of living by cutting out trade middlemen and curbing what it says is monopolistic practices. At a press briefing Thursday, Bahamas Trade Commission Deputy Chairman Barry Griffin announced the launch of the National Trade Diversification Program aimed at reducing reliance on U.S. suppliers by sourcing goods directly from other countries. He says the initiative could lower consumer prices by up to 20%, especially on food items.
Most of the meat that we consume in this country actually comes from Brazil, but we buy it through American third-party intermediaries, which means that the meat that we purchase in this country is about 20% more expensive. So by cutting out the U.S. middleman and going directly to Brazil for meat, for example, we hope that that 20% cost savings would then go on to the Bahamian consumer.
And Griffin also revealed plans for legislation to promote fair pricing and to protect consumers.
The legislation will encourage and promote new entrants into the marketplace in various industries. However, because of the size of our market, we fully recognize that some industries and companies only survive because there are a few players in the marketplace. And so for those particular industries, what is being encouraged and what we're doing is we're going to push legislation that stops anti-competitive behavior, that stops monopolistic practices, that stops predatory pricing. And so in industries where it may not be possible to have, many players, we're just going to focus on making sure that the players that are in the market don't abuse their dominance.
And now to Eleuthera, where another traffic fatality claimed the life of a man shortly after 9 o'clock this morning. Police telling us officers responded to the scene on Queens Highway in Tarpon Bay, where they say they found a white Nissan car overturned off the roadway. The single driver was taken to the local clinic, where police say he later died. The exact cause of the accident still unknown. It marks the 5th traffic fatality for the year, 2 of which here in New Providence, 1 in Grand Bahama and another in Bimini. And a man and a woman are behind bars in connection with 2 shootings that stemmed from an argument. Prosecutors say 39-year-old Felicia Pinder called 31-year-old Vino Sainamar after she got into a row with a man while at a bar on Rosedale Street on January 3rd. When he arrived, Sainamar allegedly shot at Cairo Green and Andre Thompson. Pinder is charged with abetment to attempted murder, while Sainamar is accused of attempted murder. The 2 were not required to enter pleas to the charges when they appeared before Senior Magistrate Algernon Allen Jr. Bail was denied. The matter is adjourned to April 1st for a voluntary bill of indictment. All right, we've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie, he's in tonight. Greg Thompson in the Weather Center. Ian?
Thanks, Kendino, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Thursday evening forecast, where the weekend has officially begun. Outside our studio, it's pretty cool, partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 67. Feels like the same. Winds are from the north at 16 miles per hour. Temperatures across the archipelago in our nation's second city, Freeport, we have 62, 64 in Marshall, 65 in Allenstown, a pair of 67s in Nicholstown and the capital, 68 in Great Harbor Key, and 68 in Governor's Harbor. Central Bahamas, we have 69 in Camps Bay, a pair of 70s in Arthurstown and Coburntown, 73 in Georgetown, and 72 in Deadman's Key, Long Island. In the southeast Bahamas, we have a trio of 73s in Duncantown, Delectable Bay, and in Abraham's Bay, Maguana, 72 in Colonel Hill, 75 in Matthewtown, and in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. Satellite and radar imagery at this time, we have high pressure building in the wake of a weak frontal system that just pushed through the south of the capital, pretty much as watered down now, just a shear line. Elsewhere, high pressure dominating weather conditions, cool conditions. All we can see basically is just a marine cloud deck across our area. That is all courtesy of cool air temperatures. Stick around, more weather is still to come.
Coming up in sports, a pair of pro golf events are headed to the Bahamas to begin the 2025 Corn Ferry Tour. We'll tell you all about it.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
America has spoken. Donald J. Trump is headed for a second term in the White House, with a Republican majority in the Senate and the Supreme Court. On January 20th, the world will witness his inauguration, and our news will be there. What will his changes mean for Bahamians in the region? Join Jerome Sawyer and the Our News team for a week of reports starting Inauguration Day. Because Our News is always there when it counts.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Martin. Let's do show. The Corn Ferry Tour is set to tee off in the Bahamas to open its 2025 season. The Bahamas Golf Classic at Atlantis will be hosted January 12th to 15th at the Ocean Club Golf Course, followed by the Bahamas Great Abaco Golf Classic January 19th to 22nd at the Abaco Golf Club. The Bahamas Golf Classic serves as the continuation of the Great Exuma Classic at Sandals Emerald Bay, the Corn Ferry Tour's opening event for the last 7 seasons. The Great Abaco Classic heads into its 8th year. The Golf Channel is set to televise both events. BD Global will once again host both Corn Ferry Tour events in the Bahamas.
In the NBA, Eric Gordon scored a season high in points, and DeAndre Ayton grabbed another double-double in their team's wins Wednesday night. Gordon had his best shooting night of the season and scored 15 points in the 76ers' 109-103 win over the Washington Wizards at the Wells Fargo Center. He shot 5 from 8 from the field, made a season-high 4 3-pointers on 7 attempts. In the West, Ayton got double-double number 16 on the season in the Portland Trail Blazers' 119-100 win over the New Orleans Pelicans at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. He finished with 11 points and 13 rebounds and shot just 5 from 8 from the field in 27 minutes.
The Knowles family has another Division I athlete in the pipeline. The question is, which sport will he choose? Right now, football seems to be the leader in the clubhouse for 2 sports star Brody Knowles. Knowles recently received offers from the football programs at the University of Illinois and Colorado State to go along with last month's offer from Texas Christian University. That'll do it for Our Sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as a farewell for a statesman. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter remembered at a state funeral in Washington. Plus, chaos in California as raging wildfires claim lives, destroy homes, and force mass evacuations across Los Angeles. And a diplomatic clash as Panama firmly rejects President-elect Donald Trump's suggestion of U.S. military control over the Panama Canal. The story when Our News returns.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the Our News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be
This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who passed away on December 29th at the age of 100, was remembered Thursday during a state funeral at Washington National Cathedral. President Joe Biden eulogized the 39th president, praising his integrity and vision. The ceremony drew all 5 living, current, and former presidents, including Donald Trump, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton, as well as international dignitaries like Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Over the past 2 days, thousands paid respects at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, celebrating Carter's legacy.
People of the world will be forever blessed by his decades of good works. Jimmy Carter's legacy of peace and compassion will remain unique as it is timeless.
Wildfires raging across Los Angeles have killed 5 people, destroyed hundreds of homes, and forced 180,000 residents to flee. Mayor Karen Bass called the fires unprecedented, fueled by hurricane-force winds and drought conditions. She urged residents to follow evacuation orders as new blazes, like one near Runyon Canyon, emerge. 2 elementary schools have been destroyed and firefighting resources stretched thin. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says troops are on standby to assist if needed as officials work to contain the flames. Most fires remain 0% contained.
I spoke with President Biden today and Governor Newsom earlier today, and they assured me of full federal and state support. As we head into tonight, we are still facing strong and erratic winds. In Palisades and in Sylmar, we are very much in an active firefight.
And Panama declared its sovereignty over the Panama Canal as non-negotiable, as U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has suggested military force to seize it. Trump called the 1977 treaty, handing the canal to Panama, a big mistake, and falsely claimed Chinese soldiers operated it. Foreign Minister Javier Martinez-Achao refuted the claims, insisting the canal is run solely by Panamanians. He dismissed any offers from Trump, calling Panama's sovereignty irreversible. President Jose Raul Molino assured residents the canal would remain under Panamanian control forever. And back to those California wildfires, the worst winter fires in over 40 years that continue to rage today. In tonight's edition of Sustainability First, Marlena Leonard explores the future of these kinds of extreme events.
As of Thursday morning, this week's series of raging California wildfires have killed 5, forced over 80,000 people to evacuate, and burned more than 45 square miles in the Los Angeles area. To put that in perspective, it would be the equivalent of if over half of New Providence had burned to the ground since Tuesday morning, and if 60% of the island's population had been forced to evacuate. Historically, fire season in Southern California was seen as spanning from May to October. But Glenn McDonald, a geography professor at UCLA, weighed in on the crisis, talking to The Atlantic, saying rising global temperatures and the climate crisis have contributed to an increase in fire weather in the region, pushing conditions to the point where he says the concept of a fire season is no longer necessary, as now you can have a fire any month of the year. And it's not just a California problem. The UN Environment Program predicts that extreme fires are on track to increase globally by up to 14% by 2030, 30% by 2050, and even 50% by 2100. The Bahamas is no stranger to brush fires, though thankfully we've never seen one on a Californian scale. Still, we can all take lessons from this latest fire. Follow proper fire safety practices when cooking, grilling, or working around open flames. Have a family emergency plan. Know where important documents are in your home in case you ever have to leave in a rush. And continue taking steps to reduce your own carbon footprint and get involved in your local eco-friendly initiatives. Reporting for Our News and reminding you to put sustainability first, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Still to come in Our News, Today in History. Find out interesting facts about the day that was January 9th. Also,
jump into Junkanoo. Coming up tonight on Our News, we'll tell you all about the new educational program Ministry of Education officials say they'll be implementing in this school year's program.
Then in Our News at 7:30, a step toward relief. Government officials backed the Prime Minister's VAT reduction as a strategic move to ease financial burdens for taxpayers. And a moment of tradition and reflection as the Grand Bahama Judiciary begins the 2025 legal year with a solemn march through Freeport.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to do the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trevor Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
On this day in Bahamian history in 1879, during his time on the island of Andros, Dr. Jared Kirtland, a physician and naturalist hailing from Ohio, made a noteworthy observation. The Historical Society notes he spotted and meticulously recorded the jack pine warbler, a bird species known for spending its spring and summer primarily in southern Ontario and northeastern Michigan for breeding. From the months of August to October, the jack pine warbler embarks on a migration journey to the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands, seeking refuge during the winter months. In 2013, former chairman of the National Insurance Board, Gregory Moss, spoke exclusively with our news following his firing as chairman. On January 3rd, Moss was asked by then Prime Minister Perry Christie to resign or be fired. Moss refused. Shortly after his appointment in mid-2012, Moss clashed with then NIB Director Algernon Cargill over whether NIB should have fully taken up BAB Holdings' $10 million preference share. Beyond that issue, Moss was said to be concerned he may have uncovered too much in his investigation into the Social Security Fund.
I've looked long and hard at my service at NIB, and I have no regrets there. And equally, I've looked long and hard at the substance and tenor of my press release, and I have no equivocation there either. I believe firmly in democracy, not just as a process of voting, but as an embodiment of the rule of law. And life is full of choices. You make the choices you do, and hopefully you make them from a position of integrity, and you go on and continue to make your contribution. And so, no, I have no regrets.
And in 2022, NEMA Director Stephen Russell came under fire after a tornado touched down in southern New Providence, hitting area homes and businesses. House Speaker Patricia DeVoe slammed his response in the aftermath.
What I did not see on the ground was NEMA. And I am saying this because I reached out to Commander Russell. And Commander Russell, I don't know if he was home busy watching the game because I heard he had a game last night. But I could say that he was not there. And that is who we have to reach out for emergency response. And I am terribly, terribly disturbed by that. And I say to him, I told him, I did not lie to him. I told him that I would speak to it from my chair. This is where I have my voice.
I was advised, and I'm just giving the public the record of what happened, by Commander Russell, that the tornadic activity was in the Cowpen Road area, and that's where NEMA had focused, that he was not aware that Bamboo Town had any concerns. That was the message he conveyed to me.
Really?
I would have said to him that in speaking to other members, there were at least 3 communities that was affected.
All right, the vibrant sounds of Junkanoo. Cowbells, brass, and goatskin drums are heading from Bay Street to the classroom. The Ministry of Education has declared January as National Arts and Culture Month and announced plans to integrate cultural expressions into school curriculums across the country. Our Joshua Williams was at the ministry's headquarters this morning for all the festivities and has this report.
The Ministry of Education is jumping into Junkanoo this month with its cross-curricular integration. Educators say they're seeking to enhance learning in the classroom while introducing students to a timeless Bahamian cultural experience. Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin says it was intentional, deliberate research that led them to making it a reality.
Boys and girls and teenagers throughout this country will, in their learning process, reflect on this powerful cultural expression which belongs to them. The music, the artistic form, the dance and rhythms, the design and construction of costumes, the history of Junkanoo and its developmental journey through our social, economic, and political history will all form a part of their instruction.
The day also saw students put this integration into practice, with a number of junior Junkanoo participants giving performances. For Education Director Dominique McCartney-Russell and Acting Deputy Director of Curriculum and Instruction Therese Carey-Curry, it's important to invest in young people. They also note those staples in the Junkanoo community who have already begun to give back to the program.
From Grand Bahama, like Thomas Curry and the Platinum Knights and Michael Miller and the Swingers. We welcome to the table Illustra Mr. Kalma, Village Boys, Zulu Dancers, Johnson Superstars, Barrack Hill Warriors, Cowboys, Grandmas Goodies. We welcome them to the table.
And for the Education Minister, it's also important for all to maintain a good attitude this school year.
Did you hear those young people? Do you see who we are? Did you see you saw who we are? You see them kids. This is a great country, and we should not embrace negativity or mediocrity, and we should all have all hands on deck in building this country to be all that it can be. No haters.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Josh. If you want to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. But before we toss to 7:30, Our News and Our News Thursday is the new Friday. We want to have some fun with you guys. Joining us now, entertainment correspondent Danielle Miller. Denny, I know you're looking to get a jump start on the weekend.
Hey,
What's the
Ken,
latest?
I am at Fusion Superplex getting ready with Playhouse for the Back to the 90s party, Volume 10. And it's a pity if you didn't get your tickets already because tables are sold out and so are advance tickets. There are limited tickets available at the door if you still want to come. But these streets say that this party is going to be hot as Tanya Stephens is set to take the stage as the guest artist. And guess what? Me ready. I'm dressed as though Selena and Patra styled me, so I am going to have a good time. It's Dance Hall Queen for life. But if you want to know what else I'll be doing this weekend, go to our social media platforms and watch Thursday is the new Friday. And for your weekly dose of entertainment news, stay tuned to our 7:30 p.m. broadcast. All right, guys and gals, that does it for me. See you at the party. Back to you in studio.
All right, thanks so much for that, Danny. And I know you spoke with Tanya Stephens earlier today, or yesterday. What was that? I think you guys had like a sing-along or something like that on TikTok? Yeah, listen, if you haven't seen it, Danielle and Tanya Stephens, they have a sing-along. And Marlena, I know you saw it. It was a lot of fun. The fact that Denny, I think, gave her the words, the lyric for the song, and then she just took it over. If you want to see it, you can head over to TikTok and have a look. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
You can always count on Betty to pull the energy, pull the fun. She's always got the best time with her. Well, we'll have more on Danielle's escapades in just a bit. But for now, here are your latest headlines.
First tonight on Our News Live at 7:30. Residents sound off on the Prime Minister's announcement of a 5% cut in value-added tax on some grocery store items. Will it make a difference? This, as Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkitis denies the move was politically motivated. Hear what he says went into making the decision. Plus, over in Grand Bahama, former Prime Minister Perry Christie talks challenges facing the island and weighs in on the ongoing battle over Freeport between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And later, if you've got a gifted student in your family, you'll want to hear this. The global initiative promising 50 scholarships to inspired schools around the world. One of them right here in the Bahamas. Find out what it takes to apply. All that and more when Our News Live at 7:30 returns.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the lives.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Dino Notes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the Our News social media pages, and hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
This holiday season, the Ministry of Energy and Transport is bringing light back to Bahamian homes. Through our partnership with Bahamas Power and Light, we're offering the Merry and Bright Holiday Reconnection Program, so you can pay as little as 10% of your outstanding balance and get reconnected. Just in time for the holidays. Pay a little, light up a lot. The Ministry of Energy and Transport is committed to making sure no family is left in the dark this season.
I love my EV. I am generation.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Marlena Leonard in for Talia Hall. Residents tonight are sounding off on the Prime Minister's announcement that there will be a 5% cut in value-added tax on some grocery store items. The announcement came during a national address by the PM last night. Our Joshua Williams spoke to residents outside a local grocery store today to see what type of impact they think the adjustment will have on their pockets.
So if they're doing it down to 5%, hallelujah, praise the Lord, New Year. Thank God for Jesus' sake.
The Prime Minister's unexpected announcement of a 5% cut in value-added tax on grocery items was the buzz around town today. During his first national address for the year, Prime Minister Philip Davis said he hopes the VAT reduction will help reduce prices at the cash register. The 5% rate slash will apply to all food in the food stores, including fresh fruits and vegetables, baby food, lunch snacks, and frozen food. I visited a local grocery store where I asked residents what impact the reduction would have on them.
He could sit out of his mouth, but we won't see it on this. So I think that would be beneficial for family, for a person with a family like me. I'm saying I could go and stretch a little 50 or stretch 100. But right now, things kind of tough.
This will be the second time the Davis-led government reduced the VAT rate. In 2022, the government reduced VAT from 12% to 10%, but added VAT to items that were previously VAT-free. This student, who works part-time at a food store, says the change will help.
That would possibly impact things because people always complain about money, especially people who work minimum wage jobs, don't make $300 a week. A lot of people have children. It really will positively impact the Bahamas.
Now, residents also shared with me other areas in which they believe government can ease the cost of living.
If anywhere where this VAT deduction should go, it's like I say, medical bills, doctor bills, medicine. These are things we need every month. Yeah, we need food, but we need that medicine, we need that doctor's care.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Following Prime Minister Philip Davis's unexpected announcement of a 5% cut in value-added tax on grocery items, government officials are defending the move and timing as a crucial step toward easing the burden on Bahamians amid the rising cost of living. Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkitis reaffirmed the government's commitment to providing relief during the weekly press briefing at the office of the Prime Minister. Halkitis says the government is responding to the pressing need to lower food prices for Bahamians. He insists the decision to decrease VAT was carefully considered and made possible due to the nation's improving economy, and dismissed criticism that the move was politically motivated.
We have reaped some dividends, so to speak, in terms of our financial management. And so this is the time now to be able to do it. If it was an election ploy, then you wait until close to the election. No, it has nothing to do with the election. It has to do with the recognition that the price of food is a matter that's on the minds of Bahamians.
Halkitis reiterated that the country's improved financial standing has enabled the government to roll out the measure, which is expected to have an immediate impact.
That this reduction applies to all food that is purchased in the food store, with the exception, as the Prime Minister said, of cooked food or prepared food that's served in the deli, all food. And so we expect this impact to be widespread, and we expect the consumers to feel it. This is another step in our efforts. I think the Prime Minister described it as, sharing in some of the benefits of the improvement in our economy with the Bahamian people.
2 men have been remanded to custody on charges of abetment to murder. Prosecutors allege that Nikolai Shetty and Jamiko Wright aided and abetted the persons who killed Keith Allen and Jeff Auguste on December 6, 2024. Allen and Auguste were gunned down after they left a club on East Bay Street and Okra Hill. The accused didn't have to plead to the charges when they stood before Magistrate Samuel McKinney. They're back in court on March 4th to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. Thus far, no one has been charged with the murders. And a 43-year-old Haitian man has been fined $6,500 for using fake documents to obtain a Bahamian passport and NIB card. Prosecutors say Sidney Hilaire used a forged naturalization certificate in May 2024 and was caught on December 6th. Hilaire recently pleaded guilty to several charges and faces 6 months in prison if the fines aren't paid. This follows a recent case in St. Vincent where a man was charged after he was found with a fake Bahamian passport. In an interview with Our News, Chief Passport Officer Nicholas Simonet warned that older passports are more vulnerable to cloning. He confirmed that audits are underway and urged Bahamians to upgrade to the more secure e-passport. And members of the judiciary in Grand Bahama ushered in the 2025 legal year with a solemn yet celebratory march through Freeport on Thursday morning. The procession concluded at the Pro-Cathedral of Christ the King, where the clergy and the legal community reflected on the significance of this annual tradition. Italia Hall reports.
The day began at the Garnet Lavardi Justice Center in Freeport, where members of the judiciary gathered before making their way to the Pro-Cathedral of Christ the King Church. Canon Norman Lightbourne addressed the congregation, calling the opening of the legal year a wonderful tradition he hopes will continue for generations. Canon Lightbourne emphasized the importance of upholding justice and integrity within the legal system, noting that it's a huge responsibility.
You're dealing with people's lives, people's future. Do you know what it is to be sentenced to prison for life? But your response may very well be, well, no, I've never been there and I intend to get there, but people who deserve to be there are sent there. Logically speaking, the point I'm making here is that you don't want to send the innocent where the guilty ought to go.
Canon Lightbourne reminded those in the legal profession that their duty is to ensure the guilty are convicted and punished, adding that justice should not be blind to color and status.
Why is it that there are different strokes for different folks? What is good for the goose must be good for the gander. And I say that was said a long time ago. Let justice, Amos says, roll down like water and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream.
Canon Lightbourne also underscored the need for more love in the country to stop the ongoing carnage, stressing that the judiciary, as an independent body, plays a vital role in maintaining fairness and accountability.
It's not about the politicians. It's about the people, for God's sake. It's not about the politicians. They come and they go, and they too are answerable. We show them that every 4 or 5 years.
Reporting for our news, I'm Atalia Hall.
We've got a lot more to get to tonight, but first, it's time for your first look at weather. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us now in the Weather Center for your first look on temperatures. Ian?
Thanks, Marlena, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Thursday evening forecast. We have Thursday is the new Friday, and happy weekend, everyone. Partly cloudy conditions on the outside with a temperature cool 67. Feels like still the same. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Second look now, satellite and radar imagery at this time. High pressure building across our area in the wake of a weak frontal system that just pushed to the capital right now. It's pretty much deteriorating. We'll tell you more about these fronts and this cool air mass that's continued to just dominate our weather straight ahead.
Still to come on our news, former Prime Minister Perry Christie weighs in on the ongoing battle over Freeport between government and the Port Authority amid the ongoing challenges on the island. Plus, applications are open. It's your chance to get your gifted student into the Inspired School Network. We'll tell you all about the new initiative promising 50 full-ride scholarships to secondary schools across the world. We have the details coming up when our news returns.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
America has spoken. Donald J. Trump is headed for a second term in the White House with a Republican majority in the Senate and the Supreme Court. On January 20th, the world will witness his inauguration, and our news will be there. What will his changes mean for Bahamians and the region? Join Jerome Sawyer and the Our News team for a week of reports starting Inauguration Day. Because Our News is always there when it counts.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having Business in a Box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we prize.
Former Prime Minister Perry Christie speaking out on the challenges facing Grand Bahama. His comments came as he addressed the Rotary Club of Freeport's weekly meeting at the Royal Islander Hotel. Christie noting Grand Bahama is an island that requires special attention from any administration. He also acknowledged the decline of the island's economy, a trend he admits he recognized during his tenure as Prime Minister from 2012 to 2017. The former PM says he formed a special committee made up of PLP and FNM members, including a founding FNM father, Maurice Moore. He says the group met with the Grand Bahama Port Authority to figure out the way forward.
I was taking the approach that whatever we did, we had to do it together. I lost the elections, and I asked myself, what happened? This thing that I put together that was to transcend politics and the division of politics died, and I had to wait for Mr. Davis to come in to start over again. Well, listen, you're not trying to take anything from anybody. You're trying to reason out what is best for Grand Bahama and the people of Grand Bahama.
He also weighed in on the ongoing legal battle between the government and the GBPA, saying the current administration is essentially continuing the consultancies and strategies initiated under his administration. Christie also stressed that rejuvenation on Grand Bahama will require more than just government action and called on residents to be more involved.
You have to participate in what's happening on your island. When a prime minister says, we have to do this together, I can't do it. My government can't do it by itself. We have to do it together. it necessarily means that you have to take advantage of an invitation to help define the future of Grand Bahama.
And Grand Bahama's healthcare system is set to see significant improvements as Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville announced major upgrades to clinics across the island and the morgue at the Rand Memorial Hospital. The announcement came on Monday during Governor General Dame Cynthia Pratt's annual visit to Grand Bahama. Dr. Darville confirmed that long overdue upgrades to the island's clinics are underway from West End to Sweeten Key, aiming to enhance healthcare delivery and accessibility for residents. As for the hospital's morgue, the health minister says the facility's renovations are nearing completion.
I'm pleased to report that some of the long lead items that were essential, that we've been waiting diligently for, are now present and should be installed shortly. The renovations at Davies House will begin very shortly to ensure that critical oncology and mammogram services are continued in a more conducive environment. These enhancements reflect our steady dedication to address the diverse healthcare needs of all residents here in Grand Bahama, particularly in the area of Freeport.
As it relates to Phase 2 of the Freeport Health Campus, Dr. Darville says the bidding process for the construction process will go out to tender in a few months.
This multi-story complex will house hospital beds, theaters, intensive care unit, and other essential hospital services. This is good news for Grand Bahama because it means additional construction jobs and the completion of the long-awaited new hospital for Grand Bahama. The Freeport Health Campus is combined with collective accessibility to high-quality healthcare services.
Now, you'll want to lean in and listen if you've got a gifted student in your family who's 13 or older, because there's a new scholarship opportunity in town. The Insuli Scholars Program is a global initiative looking to provide full scholarships to 50 students to one of the 111 Inspired Education Group schools around the world. The program is named after the Inspired Group founder Nadim Nsuli, who's married to a Bahamian and lives in the Bahamas. We have one of those inspired schools right here in New Providence. It's King's College School. Applications opened on Wednesday and will close on April 30th. Founding principal at King's College, Matteo Rossetti, describes the ideal candidate.
So the ideal candidate we're looking for is a candidate who has exceptional academic achievement and potential, but who has also demonstrated excellence in either the sports and whether in any sports really, and also creative or performing arts. But also students who have really those qualities to actualize that potential. So we're looking for students who have ambition, students who have a vision and the integrity, leadership, and capacity for effort and hard work. That's always at the basis of achievement, to see all of that potential actualized. They need to be students who are 13 and above and who otherwise wouldn't be able to access an inspired education.
And Rossetti says the opportunity is open to students across the Bahamas, not just New Providence. But what does the application process look like?
We want parents to go on our website, and from there they're able to upload evidence of that academic excellence, evidence of excellence in the sports or creative and performing arts. There are references there. Following that process, we then shortlist the candidates, and at that stage, the candidates will then have an online assessment. They'll come in school at King's College School, the Bahamas. They'll have an assessment which will measure their cognitive skills. So verbal, non-verbal reasoning, quantitative and spatial skills. Following that, there is a further shortlist, and those candidates shortlisted will then be interviewed by myself, and those applications then will be reviewed by a central team, and the scholars will be announced on the 30th of May 2025.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute, To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Coming up in sports, pro golf returns to the Ocean Club Golf Course and a winning night all around for national team players in the NBA.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is...
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by Tampa Gear Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Martinet. Let's do show. The Corn Ferry Tour is set to tee off in the Bahamas to open its 2025 season. The Bahamas Golf Classic at Atlantis will be hosted January 12th to 15th at the Ocean Club Golf Course, followed by the Bahamas Great Abaco Golf Classic January 19th to 22nd at the Abaco Golf Club. The Bahamas Golf Classic serves as the continuation of the Great Exuma Classic at Sandals Emerald Bay, the Corn Ferry Tour's opening event for the last 7 seasons. The Great Abaco Classic heads into its 8th year. The Golf Channel is set to televise both events. BD Global will once again host both Corn Ferry Tour events in the Bahamas.
Atlantis has been a great partner. We came to them when Sandals announced that they were unfortunately going to shut down to remodel, and Atlantis was quick to raise their hand and say, hey, we would love to host the event. We look forward to being here over a number of years. We have a really good golf community here at the Ocean Club. So BD Global and our team, as well as the PGA Tour, couldn't be more excited.
In the NBA, Eric Gordon scored a season high in points, and DeAndre Ayton grabbed another double-double in their team's wins Wednesday night. Gordon had his best shooting night of the season and scored 15 points in the 76ers' 109-103 win over the Washington Wizards at the Wells Fargo Center. He shot 5 from 8 from the field, made a season-high 4 3-pointers on 7 attempts. Washington rallied from a 16-point hole and stretched the lead to 101-98. Gordon hit the tying 3 for the Sixers on the following possession, and they outscored the Wizards 11-2 down the stretch. In the West, Ayton got double-double number 16 on the season in the Portland Trail Blazers' 119-100 win over the New Orleans Pelicans at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. He finished with 11 points and 13 rebounds and shot just 5 from 8 from the field in 27 minutes. The Blazers built a 16-point lead in the first quarter and were never threatened. They've also won 4 of the last 7 and have scored at least 103 points in 11 of the last 12.
The Knowles family has another Division I athlete in the pipeline. The question is, which sport will he choose? Right now, football seems to be the leader in the clubhouse for 2 sports star Brody Knowles. Knowles recently received offers from the football programs at the University of Illinois and Colorado State to go along with last month's offer from Texas Christian University. Last season, as a sophomore wide receiver, he finished with 39 receptions for 598 yards and 8 touchdowns to earn a 4.68 first-team All-District selection. At 6'6", Knowles also stars on the basketball court for South Lake Carroll in Texas. In AAU basketball, he's a member of former NBA All-Star Jermaine O'Neal's Drive Nation on the Nike EYBL circuit in the offseason. You may have heard of Brody's dad before, and he had an interesting take on the decision to come in the next few months.
Brody still plays basketball. He is on Jermaine O'Neal's national team, so he's at a high level there as well. I think the next kind of 12 months will probably be where he probably kind of figures out which sport he likes the most. But at this age, we don't want to put pressure on him. Let him just play. Play as long as he can, both sports, have fun. He loves them both.
That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS. The real question for Brody Knowles in football and basketball is how soon we get him on the junior national basketball team.
I know he has a passport, and I can guarantee we could lock a spot in.
Lock it in, guys. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, our Danielle Miller introduces a young Bahamian who is not your average music artist. Hear how he's determined to break barriers. And another chilly island winter day. Will the cool temps hold through the holiday weekend? Ian is back in the Weather Center with the answers when our news returns.
This holiday season, the Ministry of Energy and Transport is bringing light back to Bahamian homes. Through our partnership with Bahama's Power and Light, we're offering the Merry and Bright Holiday Reconnection Program, so you can pay as little as 10% of your outstanding balance and get reconnected. Just in time for the holidays. Pay a little, light up a lot. The Ministry of Energy and Transport is committed to making sure no family is left in the dark this season.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision's actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th, only on RTV.
Thanks, everyone. Welcome to Extended Forecast. We're currently right now across our area, we have high pressure, dominating weather conditions, pretty much the boring part of the weather season. However, in the Gulf area, there is an area of low pressure that's developing. This is expected to impact the Gulf states, pose some warnings across that area in the form of severe weather warnings. And as it pushes towards the southeast, we can expect a cold front to develop from the system, which should impact our area sometime early next week. We're going to continue to monitor the progress of the system. Right now, boating conditions across all areas. We do have a small craft caution in effect. For you swimmers as well, there's a risk of rip currents, especially along the eastern and Atlantic shorelines. Winds will be northeast 10 to 15, gusting higher at times. Seas will be 2 to 4, but up to 8 feet offshore in those north to northeasterly swells. Low tide will be at 9:29 p.m. tonight. High tide at 4:25 a.m. tomorrow morning. Here's a look now at your national forecast. And in your extended forecast, gorgeous day tomorrow across the islands. Into the weekend, we still expect beautiful conditions. Expect a front to push through the area. Late Saturday into early Sunday, the next front will come through our area sometime Monday, Tuesday, with possibility of rain chances. We haven't seen much rain across the area of late, but guess what, folks? Those high temperatures are only going to be hanging around the mid to upper 70s, with your low temperatures in the low 60s and even popping up into the upper 50s. That's a wrap on the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. Well, we're about to introduce you to a young Bahamian who's not your average music artist. He's a self-proclaimed renegade in the local music scene, defying expectations. From a life-changing car accident to his relentless pursuit of stardom, Danielle Miller shares his journey that's been nothing short of extraordinary.
Meet Shad Fur, a renegade artist breaking barriers in the local music scene, exploring several different genres, steering away from the tradition of one sound, and making his audience a part of every show. From the age of 4, his passion for artistry ignited. By 9, he was on stage for the first time, confronting his fear and embracing his destiny as an artist.
I remember the first time when I had to perform on stage when I was 9, knowing I was going to do it, but feeling my knees shaking and hoping no one could see that I was shaking. But then I started to realize, man, the audience doesn't inherently want you to fail. They don't want you to explode on stage.
Determined to make his dream a reality, Shad travels the world, performing wherever he can.
One unforgettable moment came at the One Music Festival in Atlanta, where he delivered a surprise show on the festival lawn. The audience entertained, yet unaware that just hours before, Shad had survived a near-fatal car crash, which almost cost him his life.
I had to crawl out of the car and stuff like that. The car got totaled. I never put it on social media, and I only told a limited amount of people about it. That's how intently serious I am about my goals. To me, it's like, if I survive, then I continue.
With an incredible journey and more stories to tell, Shad's resilience shines through in his latest track, 2024, Last Normal Year, released this past Saturday.
Last normal year is me saying everything that's happened from the past and where I am right now. And it's actually 2024 that was my last normal year. 2025, y'all can see me. You think I fearless now, but I about to be so shameless? Yeah, sorry. Why would I be shamed? This is my life.
Reporting for our news, I'm Danielle Miller.
Love it. Can't wait to see where 2025 takes us all. Well, on behalf of the entire team, thank you for joining us for our news tonight. I'm Marlena Leonard. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Italia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see